So I want to start off with the introduction to this whole skadoodle. As I've said at the beginning, it has, maybe I didn't say it, but it's been a while since I've done one of these reviews, so the way I wrote this one is going to be a little different compared to my past reviews I've done. So bear with me on that one. Obviously, this one is for Mario Kart World. I have been done with Mario Kart World for like, I don't know, the past month or maybe a little bit more, give or take, however how long this game's been out. This game's been a journey. I will go, before we go on, I will definitely say it's not exactly the one I was really hoping for, but it has been a journey. So let's really start off this review. So I have been with the Mario Kart franchise, not faithfully, since Mario Kart Double Dash on the Nintendo GameCube. I have played Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 8 and also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and tried a little bit of the original Mario Kart. I think it was for the SNES through the emulator on the Nintendo Switch. And also, when I was writing this up, it's weird that I had a Nintendo Wii, but I never actually bought nor even tried Mario Kart Wii. I have been with the franchise for a little while, so take that as you will. Again, not faithfully, but I have been with the franchise since Double Dash, and that came out, I think, 2002 or 4. With that being said, the last game that we've had for a long time has been Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was for the Nintendo Switch, but was a port of Mario Kart 8 from the days of the Nintendo Wii U. So we really haven't had a new Mario Kart game since ultimately 2014. I know Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did have the roster DLC that did add new characters and courses to the game, and I believe when the game did come out for the Nintendo Switch, it already did include new characters to begin with, but I don't really consider it a new game in the franchise because it's still a port of the 2014 game. So obviously, fast forward to 2025, and finally we have a brand new Mario Kart World. Alright, so these are my initial thoughts. When this game was initially announced, I was really excited. I would go to the extent that I would, as corny as it sounds, I was super excited. Finally, after all this time, Nintendo has finally graced us with a new Mario Kart. The drought between, again, Mario Kart 8 here was pretty rough. I know we had Deluxe, but whatever. I remember when the initial trailer came out, I had to rewatch it over and over again to spot all the new stuff they were adding to the game and see all the new courses. I remember thinking to myself, I couldn't wait. I think a lot of people would agree with that as well. Let's do a little Dragon Ball Z time skip. And later, we have Nintendo starting to ramp up, trying to get the word out about Mario Kart World. More and more people were starting to take notice, if they haven't already, and more eyes were starting to catch on. And with all this ramping up, we got the announcement, if my timeline's right, of the Mario Kart World Direct. Well, the Direct was here. It came and went, and well, for those who know, that's when the disaster struck. So I remember getting up earlier than usual, and getting up on time to watch the Direct and being stunned at what I'm seeing. All in all, I thought the Direct was a success. I honestly could not wait for this game to be out. There was nothing in the Direct at first that seemed bad. Unfortunately, the honeymoon phase did not last long at all. I remember looking on Twitter, X, and seeing more and more people call out one important thing. Well, I think there's several, but this would be the most important. There is no price tag at the end of this Direct. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that's slightly worrying. So more and more people started to get upset and started to tweet Nintendo. Well, to keep this story short, the price was finally unveiled at some point. I forgot who did it originally. But the price was finally unveiled, and it was a grand total of not $60, not $70, but $80. And with that, for the most part, or at least for some people it might have been the whole thing, Nintendo ruined the hype for that of Mario Kart World. A game that It's not even out yet. It's close to being out, but it's not out yet. There was still some hope that I had, and I think other people had as well, that the game would be good and maybe, just maybe, might just be worth the price tag Nintendo was asking for, or I guess is still. Well, more and more information started coming out and more videos were being released, and the game really couldn't, if I'm remembering correctly, just could not catch a break. People were not happy with how Nintendo was treating this title, especially since it was a launch title for their newest console, that of the Nintendo Switch 2. Well, now the game has been out for a while, and yeah, I did buy it and even did a Let's Play of it. It's on my channel if you want to watch it, shameless plug aside. And well, here's my review of Mario Kart World. Hope you all enjoy. Alright, so let's start off with this new game what this game has and stock, the content this game has. So for this game we have, as usual, the Grand Prix to play through. We also have your multiplayer options and, as usual, your time trials. Nothing new there. But for this title, Nintendo has created a whole new mode, Knockout Tour. We'll go over that later. Also, for the first time in Mario Kart, Nintendo has upped their player count from 12 to a grand total of 24. So with that, there is way more chaos to ensue. Also with gameplay, the player now has the option to wall grind and do more than one trick. As always, with every new entry, of course, we have brand new courses. As usual, there are also the retro courses to go through, which, for anybody that doesn't know, probably no one. Yeah, I think I got that right. Which are they're just courses from the past titles. But they did something different with this one. Instead, they went back and redid some of the older courses from the ground up to give them what I guess you could call a refresher. Now we're getting to gameplay, the meat of, I think, most Mario Kart games. Let's see. So, let's obviously start off with the gameplay. So, Nintendo did away with the anti-gravity sections from Mario Kart 8 and evolved it with wall riding. Yeah. So for those who need a refresher, probably no one, in Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in the new courses, there were these anti-grav sections where the players could go, well, not the players, but the course would go upside down and you'd be able to race that way until the course would go back to normal, or you would be racing on a wall or whatever. You all know. At first, when playing this game back in 2014, the idea was awesome and fun, but quickly got, I guess you could say, boring. I don't know if this was a general thing or what, but for Mario Kart World, Nintendo changed it so there's no more anti-grav. Well, anything. Now as you race, if you hold the drift button long enough, you can do a little jump onto a wall and start to ride it. Pause. With this being a thing, more options can open up, like secret areas or being able to cut in line so that you can get ahead in the race. Nintendo did away, at least for now, the underwater sections of courses, and instead your cart will transform into a boat. Instead of a glider, your cart will sprout wings. All of these are the same as 8. In my opinion, nothing really has changed besides the underwater sections. There are also new items in Mario Kart World. The new items are the coin shell, ice flower hammer, mega mushrooms feather, and Kamek. I'll talk about them later. These items they're there. I guess for me personally, they didn't really do anything, and I would honestly say to a certain extent they felt useless. The only one I really used was the feather, because you can use it to jump over red shells, or if you're really good, which I'm not, you can jump over a blue shell if you time it correctly. For me, personally, I guess for me, these items didn't really add much, personally. So, yeah. So like I said earlier, in Mario Kart World, Nintendo raised their racer cap from 12 to 24, and yeah, it's something. Before this game came out, I was really excited about this idea or concept, and after playing the game for a while, I don't really think this was the best idea. I think it sounds better on paper, but in action, I just don't think it's the best. There's just too much chaos with it, and it gets really hectic, and not in a good way. There's just too much going on, and especially on screen, it can get really cluttered at times. Especially when you are in first place, you will get bombed, if you know you know. with everything, and it just gets flat out annoying, especially if you don't have any of the decent items on you to defend yourself. You can easily go from first place to almost last because of how hectic it can get. I think upping the player count to 24 is a bit much, and just maybe Nintendo should lower it in the next title. I don't know to how much exactly, but I guess that'd be just my opinion. You might feel different though. Let me know. Alright, so Grand Prix and the Knockout Tour. So with every new Mario Kart title comes with a slew of new courses that we, the players, can race through. And Mario Kart World does not miss at all. Mario Kart World comes with 8 new cups to go through, or at least 7 until you lock the last cup, the special cup. I really did enjoy the Grand Prix in this one. Maybe not as much as I did with Mario Kart 8 or Deluxe, but I did really enjoy them. I do think it's because of how long 8 or, well, Deluxe has been out for, but in my opinion, there's something missing in World. I don't really know how to explain it. The courses aren't bad. I think they're missing something. I don't really know how to explain it, but there's just something about the courses in 8 that I don't know how to really explain. I guess if I'm gonna go with if you know, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much, and we'll just leave it there so I don't waste time. I will say this though, I do want more. Even if I have to pay, I do want more courses to play through. I will say this though about Grand Prix. Unlocking the Special Cup and also Rainbow Road, I do think Mario Kart World does have the best Rainbow Road to date. I do think Nintendo really nailed it on that one. I think they hit a home run on that one. So on that one, I really do want to say congrats. Or at least good job to Nintendo. You guys really did a good job. And honestly, it did kind of make me a little emotional playing through it for the first time, because they really did take like the best of every single Rainbow Road throughout the franchise and put it into one. But that being said, in every Mario Kart title, I believe it was since DS onwards, I could be wrong, obviously correct me, there are the retro courses that you can race through. Well, Nintendo did something different with World. They, instead of just, I'm assuming this is how they did it, just poured over the old courses and just did a little something to tidy them up and make them look better, or however they did it. They instead built a slew of old ones. They built the old ones from the ground up and spiced them up even more to make them brand new. And yeah, they really did. They did a really good job in my opinion. I honestly really do love them. I think one of my favorite, if not my favorite course in all of Mario Kart is Dino Jungle, and it was a blast seeing this new variation of it in Mario Kart World. I do wonder though if they will continue with this. I'm assuming they will, but I honestly do wonder if at some point they'll just full on, or they'll just do what they have done in the past. So we'll have like this best of both worlds type situation. I really do wonder what they'll do from this point forward. So let's talk about Knockout Tour. It is everything that I honestly was hoping it was going to be. Having to play, when you play through, you have to make it to a certain place and get through every single checkpoint, or if not, you're eliminated. It's full on awesome. I love this mode. I hope they continue to evolve it with future titles. I think this was, I don't know, I love it. I also love how it's just basically one huge track. There's no loading screens besides the initial start loading screen. And once you get in, it's just, you go from course to course to course. I love it. I really do hope they keep this up again with future titles. I will say that this mode is it's definitely more fun with friends, or even if you do it online, but it is definitely fun playing it solo as well. So Knockout Tour actually has cups of its own, actually, and it has a grand total of 8. My gripe with this, it's just more me nitpicking here. It's trying to get 3 stars on the harder mode. It is hard. I will say regular Grand Prix, even on the harder mode, even on like 150cc, it's fine once you get to the swing of things. But Knockout Tour, it is brutal. The AI can get outright annoying. Maybe it's just me, but I gave up after so long of trying to get 3 stars on the Knockout Tour Cups. I believe they did something with this. in an update at some point. I don't really know. I can't remember, but I believe they did. All in all, it's fun. I definitely do wish or hope that they do something with the AI so they're not as brutal, or at least they're more akin to how the AI is on the Grand Prix. Other than that, I generally do love Knockout Tour. Nintendo, you knocked it out of the park with that, and I hope you continue with this with future titles. So my next thing to talk about, playable characters. For this title, from what I've looked up, we have a grand total of 50 playable characters, which sounds awesome, right? Well, 24 of those characters are just reskins of the main characters, and the other 26 are the actual characters you can unlock. Now, I'm not mad at getting more characters from Mario Kart. I welcome more, obviously, just not how it's done here. Now, I don't mind reskins. I really don't. I actually really love the different costumes you can unlock for the main characters. I really do. It gives them a certain flavor, I guess. I just don't like how Nintendo made it where the game treats these costumes or skins as new characters. I also don't like the character select screen. It needs an update to slim it down. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I definitely know for this one, I'm not alone. I also don't like how the other characters you unlock, they're just the various enemies from Mario Kart games. Mario games. Now, I don't mean to sound hypocritical, but I do like Goomba or the Hammer Bro, or actually that might have been just those two, but I will say I am surprised that it took this long to get a Goomba or Hammer Bro to be a playable character in Mario Kart games, if I'm being honest. Or if they have been, let me know. I just wish the other characters were actual characters, like actual named characters. For example, I would have loved to see Professor Egad from Luigi's Mansion be a playable character. Or for those who know, Toadsworth. I know he was in Super Mario Sunshine, and I think he was in some of the Mario and Luigi games. But for a side note here, for some reason, he's completely disappeared from the franchise for some reason. I don't know why, but whatever. Or I would even take some characters from the Paper Mario series. I think that would have been better than just various enemies from the Mario games. And before we move on, I did not forget, to unlock these other characters, you have to play on specific courses. Not any course, they have to be specific courses. And you have to get a item block, and you better pray to God that it's Kamek, because that is how you unlock the other characters. And yeah, if not, you are going to be replaying those courses over and over and over and over again, until you or somebody gets Kamek and actually uses him. And again, these have to be on specific courses in specific areas, because again, if nobody uses him, you're screwed. Gimmick is just annoying and is very time consuming, and it's just not fun. Nintendo does something with this in the future, or at least when it comes to future titles, just scrap this idea. And for those who don't know, to unlock the extra skins for the main characters, you just have to go around the open world or play through the courses and get a food item, and then you can unlock a new skin. That's it. That one's not too bad, just a little time consuming. So now we move on to the open world. So this Mario Kart title has a quote unquote open world to explore and play around in. I can't lie, it sucks for me personally. I know some people do like it. I don't think it's horrible, but there isn't anything to do but to collect stickers for your cart, and right now it's just not worth it. There's no story mode or any real unlockable to get. I was really hoping Nintendo would I'm hoping Nintendo does something with this in the future and just doesn't leave it as is. I do think there's something there, or can be something there. I just think Nintendo needs to do something and add that Nintendo magic. So all in all, thumbs down in the open world department. Next stop, we're almost done here. Thank you all if you all are still watching, like and subscribe. Anyways, graphics. So for this title of Mario Kart, Nintendo went back to more of a cartoonish look, I guess you could say, whereas of Mario Kart 8, they wanted to go for a more realistic look. I believe that's what they wanted. I do believe the developers said this in an interview before Mario Kart World was released. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember seeing a lot of people disappointed with this and where they were going for the looks and wanted Nintendo to continue with the realistic look of Mario Kart 8. But for me, I think the game looks gorgeous. I don't think Mario was meant to be realistic at all. I'm not saying Mario Kart 8 or Deluxe doesn't look good. Both games look gorgeous. I still think 8, even on the Wii U, the original version, holds up to a certain extent to this day. Again, that game came out in 2014, so that for me, that's saying something. Again, I think they both hold up to this day, but I'm also not saying that you can't do a Mario Kart game or a Mario game in general that's not on the more realistic scale. I think you definitely can do both I guess you could call them franchises on the realistic scale. I just personally think the cartoonish look suits the franchise more. So in the graphics department, I think it's a big thumbs up for me. I love it. I think the game looks gorgeous. I think it looks better than Mario Kart 8. That's just me. So my end thoughts. So with all this being said and done, we are now at the end of this review, if you can call it that. So to keep this nice and short, I do love this game. It's not my favorite. In all honesty, I would probably say it's still Mario Kart 8 / Deluxe. But if I'm being completely honest, with my nostalgia goggles on, it would be Mario Kart Double Dash. I don't think this game is bad at all. I do think Nintendo's handling this title a little differently than what I think they should be, but that's just me. I do think they are being a little bit more corporate in general. I do wish they would go back to the way it was when Iwata was around, or even when Reggie was CEO of Nintendo of America, and in general, Nintendo has lost a lot of that magic that they had back in the day, but that's just me. Could they go back to it at some point? Definitely. Do I think this game is worth it now? That's the hard one. I think at the end of the day, I'm just going to say that's personally up to you. It is $80, and I will say this, I don't regret buying the game at all. I really don't. I do love this game, but I do regret spending $80 on this game, if that makes any sense. I don't think this game is worth the $80 right now at least. I do think this game definitely does need more courses and more characters to really, or I guess in another word, it just needs more content to really get me to agree to the price tag. Also, the open world, and I'm doing quotations here, of this game just flat out sucks. There's nothing to do but just go around and collect stickers, which for me it's not worth it. And I guess if I had to use another example of myself, I played one of my favorite games on the Nintendo Wii was Wii Sports Resort, and that one had a mode where you could fly around the hub area, which was called Woohoo Island for those who don't know. And I generally loved doing that. I could do that over and over and over. And I would say Mario Kart World, with the open world of Mario Kart World, has a similar thing going on with how it was treated in Wii Sports Resort. And for this one, I just don't care for it. I know there's something about Wii Sports Resort that had me keep coming back to it, and maybe it's just because I was just so much younger at the time. But I don't really know. Again, there's no story mode or any unlockable you can get. I mean, I guess I would up it a little bit if you can like unlock characters or whatever, but you don't unlock characters in this. You literally just unlock stickers for your cart, which you don't even see half the time. So I don't know. I think they need to do something with it. With that being said, there really isn't anything here to really make the game worth $80. I apologize for repeating the same thing here. I don't even think it's worth $70 if I'm being honest. I think if Nintendo went for $60, I really do think this game would have done way better perception-wise. I mean, I will say this though, in terms of what I'm hoping for. I am excited to see what Nintendo does for the future of Mario Kart World. I am hoping they do something for Donkey Kong Bonanza related, and hopefully soon, because it seems like everybody's really enjoying this game, and I myself, again, you already know if you're watching this video, I'm doing a Let's Play of it. I generally do love this game. So I really do hope, I would love to see a DLC of like new costumes for Donkey Kong or Pauline, and maybe even add teen Pauline into it with her own costumes. And then you can add Dixie. You can add Dixie and Diddy Kong, and maybe even Void, Poppy, and I think his name is Grumpy Kong, and maybe even add Cranky and add a mine cart for an actual cart. And then you could do Bonanza. You can add Bonanza levels. Anyways, whatever. What I really want, and yes, I know from what I've gathered, I'm in the minority of this, but I would love to see more Nintendo properties join Mario Kart World, like how it was in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe. You know, they had Link from Legend of Zelda, they had Isabelle and the villagers from Animal Crossing, and I think Deluxe added the Inklings from. I would love to see that idea expanded on more, but all in all, do I think this game is worth it? Yes, just not $80 worth it, or I guess not now. I guess another way of wording it. Maybe in the future when more content is added, then maybe. Again, with all these negatives, I am excited to see what they do with this game. I am looking forward to it, and I am hoping that they do something with it at some point. But yeah, it's been a journey. The waiting and actually getting my hands on the game and playing it. It's been a journey. It's just not exactly the journey that I was really hoping for, but take that as you will. I think I'm gonna be done with the whole numbering thing from here on out. If anything, these are just more of my opinions, but I guess if I have to give it a rank, I'd probably do like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I do like it. I think the courses are amazing. I do love what they do with the retro courses. I do think they should have handled the characters a little differently. The content's a little lacking in my opinion for $80, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm still excited to see what comes next, but I'm gonna let you all go. If you guys enjoyed the video, which I really hope you guys did, you know, obviously always leave a like and consider subscribing. Again, I do want to apologize if I sound bad. I caught something. I don't know how I caught something, but I caught something. But yeah, I love you all. I hope to see you guys on the next video, and yeah. Bye.